cats through that first and see if anything from cats to... G'day guys, Lawson from Baling, Scaling and Barbecue. Thank you for joining me today. We're talking about how to buy our first gun. What gun should we buy, and working out what the best gun is for the animal, okay? So there's a few little titles in there, but basically is what gun should I buy, okay? So the first thing you want to do is, if you are a non-hunter, you've never hunted before, you're just getting it, this is a good video for you to get involved with, okay? So first thing we're going to talk about is learning and getting to know your weapons and your firearm safety. So you've gone and done your safety course, you've learned, okay, this is the rules and all that. And most people will forget all that stuff the second they walk out the door, and that's okay. But then you go and join an SSA or a deer association where they take safety to the next level, which is fantastic. So guns are not a toy, and they're not to be mucked around with. They are serious stuff. So you've gone and done your license. Now we're going to go buy our first gun. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are you using the gun for? Are you going to be shooting pigs, cats and foxes, or are you going to go shoot deer and buffalo and bulls? So, or if you're going to be sitting there shooting at clay targets, or going to the club to shoot targets, which is still fine. But this is the hunting channel, so we're going to talk about hunting. So the first question we're going to ask is, what are we hunting? What are we shooting at? So on and so forth. Okay, so personally, myself, going through the way I was learned, I got taught at 22. So you want to learn the basics first. You want to hold the gun properly. You want to make sure that you're looking down the rifle correct way. You're breathing. You're holding the gun properly. You're putting it into your shoulder, and so forth. So you want to learn how to do that first with the smaller calibers like the 22, or a little one like this, the HMR 17. So you're learning about guns, and you're learning about the calibers and how fast they spit the bullet out, so on and so forth. So, like I'm going to say I'm not a gun nut, but I know enough to get me through. What I would recommend is buying a 223. That can do anything from cats to pigs and goats and foxes. So that's a good range there. Maybe a 2-4-3 if you're learning how to shoot and you're pretty confident and you're happy for a bigger bang. But 2-4-3 will knock off cats, foxes, goats, and even the odd deer. But personally, I would just stick with the pigs, the goats, and the cats and foxes. So that 2-4-3 and the 2-3, more speaking towards the 2-3, is a nice cheap gun to run, easy to use, reliable, and bullets don't cost much. So you're confident in using the rifle. The next step is, what are you going to buy next? If you're new to hunting and you spent 12 months on the 2-4-3, and you've learned how to shoot, and you're feeling confident, you want to go up for the next game, you want to start getting deer, and you want to get into the big buffalo and stuff like that. I would always recommend, and this is also for pigs and goats as well, a great all-round gun, and I would recommend it as your first gun if you had no other option and you're just going to be shooting deer and pigs and buffalo, and you're a big guy and you can handle some firepower. But the main thing is with guns is you're not pulling your shot, and you're comfortable and you're confident. If you're pulling your shot, there's no point having it, because you're not going to hit anything. So if you're shooting the larger game and you're a big guy like myself, I would recommend a 308. So 308 is the 30 cal caliber. It's a big gun, and like I said, I'll reiterate, this is take 6 probably on these videos. Guns aren't a joke. They're very serious. Guns are not to be mucked around with, and anything from an air rifle to all the way up are deadly. Hit him in the right spot, you're going to kill something. So 308 is a great rifle. It's a big rifle. It's not the biggest. It's definitely the biggest, but it's a big rifle. And if you're feeling comfortable from the 2-3 and 2-4-3, this is probably your next jump. Okay, 270 is a good gun too. and that's in the 22 calibers. But 270 spits them out. A little bit harder and flatter than the 308. The 308 is a great all-round gun. It'll shoot everything in Australia for you, no dramas. So this is a Kimber 308. This is 2.5 kilos. When you're picking gun, guys, look at a couple of things. The weight. Now I can hold this gun out straight like that, and I'm pretty weak. I can hold this gun out straight for a little while. I can walk many Ks with this on my back and not have an issue. This is a nice little Kimber 308. It's light, it's sporting. Now, that's a nice rifle for hunting deer, hunting bulls, and pigs. It's a great little rifle, that one, and that will do the job majority of the time. Now, this is my first rifle, and I would never ever recommend getting this as your first rifle. This is a 1943 Lithgow, and this is a 303. Now, this thing kicks, barks, and bucks. You've shot this thing. It's a beautiful old gun. It's retired now, and it works. It definitely works. So I've never had a second shot at anything with this. Once it's hit, it stays hit, and that's obviously the same with the 308. The 308 does kick and buck and boot, but in saying that, you know what you're getting when you start looking at the 270 onwards. They are big guns, and they're not to be mucked around with. This is my second purchase. This is a HMR 17 Marlin with a little 4x scope Bushnells. Basically, this is a present. The scope was a gift from Dad, and the 17 I bought as I just wanted something to shoot foxes and cats and rabbits with. Personally, I wouldn't buy a rimfire. Lots of issues. The grouping in it doesn't work very well. It's hitting the right shot. When you're shooting a target, it just doesn't group very well. I've worked out, talking to Browns Plains Firearms, that it is actually because it's a rimfire, it's the ammunition as well, so it spits them out. So grouping like this, it won't even go inside that grouping. So it's pretty important for me to have that grouping, because I want to know exactly where that bullet's going. I want to be able to look down that crosshair and go bang on that deer, on that pig, on that whatever I'm shooting at, and know where that bullet's going. So yeah, guys, what to buy the first gun, that's my options. If you're learning out, you're shooting small stuff, 2-3. If you're getting into big stuff, I'd go 308. And if you're confident and you know what you're doing, but mostly you want to make sure you're holding the rifle right into your shoulder. You're not putting your head too close, because you don't want to give yourself a black eye from the scope. And you're safe. You know what you're doing, and you're confident. I was a guide last year up in Cape York, and I had a client there, and he kept missing pigs, and I was asking what's he doing, and I wasn't trying to be rude. I just said, what's happening? Why aren't you hitting? He wasn't even getting close, and I asked him, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm just aiming down the scope and pulling the trigger. I said, well, for one, we always squeeze our trigger. We never pull. Pulling is pulling your shot. So when you're aiming, you should be squeezing. If you're pulling, your tendons are all that are going hard, and you're going to be moving. And it tightens up. So squeezing this trigger, breathing and squeezing. Okay, so I'm no gun nut. This is just what I'm going off, and I love guns, and yeah, guys, this is just, I've done this video 6-7 times and I still can't get it right. So hopefully it works. So thanks, guys. Stay tuned for more BSB. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.